if they ask. Don't get into that unless they ask, okay? The way we work that is we put two holes, two more holes in the face of the die, and we put two pins, 3/16 indexing pins, and we face this off 24 to 36 scribe marks in the face of this, and on this inside ring we put scribe marks on the inside ring so that you can see the lines line up at 90-degree angles there, okay? And you totally lubricate this with Nicol lubricant. It's a silicone based lubricant with nickel in it, and it's a great anti-seize. I recommend it. But you ask how that would work. You put your 2 or 3 conductor tip in, whatever you're going to do. You put it in. Of course, the crosshead, the extruder's feeding it like this. You put that in there, approximately level, and you put your die in there. You run your wire through, and you put that on, and you turn the cover down. This is all lubricated. Make sure this is completely lubricated here, and that the face of it is lubricated so that it slides on this surface here. You put the cover on hand tight, okay? Now with it hand tight and snugged right up tight, now you can index that, and that die will actually roll in there and the cover sits still, okay? And you can index it, get it where you want. So visually, everything looks good. Push the button, pressurize the crosshead, run out a sample of wire, check it. If it's right on the money, go ahead and go. If it's off, it's not going to be off by much because your eye is able to capture center quite well. All you have to do is just put your pins in there, take a screwdriver or something, and just index that ever so slightly. And then you give it another jog and let her run, okay? Everything's all set. You like the wire, just snug up on the cover a little bit. That die holder will not roll. It'll sit right there and squish down in a little bit further, and you'll be on center. That's for running a 2 conductor where you have two holes in the die or the tip. Thought I had a 2 conductor die here. I did have one. Just 2 holes in it, 3 holes. You need for lamp cord, and for that right there you got 2 conductors. You got a positive and a negative, okay? Mm-hmm. Right there, okay, that's a 2 conductor. Now that's made with knife blades in it. That's an oval wire. If you look at your hair dryer stuff, all that is an oval conductor with 2 knife blades in it. Comes down like this, like that, for tearing and ripping it. I'm not sure why, because they terminate it and put plugs on the end of it, so I'm not sure why it would have to rip or why they have it like that. Rip cord, they call that. Rip cord is another thing. That's where you have a jacketed cable, like in that big picture we have, and they'll put a rip cord down through there. All it is a string, like a kite string, but it's nylon, and that's for ripping jackets. You take a big old cable, it's got 50 conductor in it or something. Find a rip cord. All it is like a tear top on the top of a box. You rip that, and it rips the insulation open so you can lay out your conductors and get to them and terminate your switchboard or whatever. That's what a rip cord is, if you happen to hear that. But anyway, you don't get into the 2 and 3 conductor business too much, but if you do, that's how it's done. Totally lubricate the tip of the die. You put the cover on, and you put the cover on super, okay? Don't ever let the customer run this down, whang, okay? Bang right there, okay? It'll lock up on you. It'll take 2 people to hold that, and the best way to do it, you get that out, and then start slapping it with a force. A steady force wasn't able to push it out, but a tap will. Likewise with that, if somebody elects to bring that down close and just spin it, bang, it's set right up on you. But I think you'll get it off. I haven't had that happen in years, but it used to happen to me all the time. I don't know why. Okay. Anyway, we had this thing apart, and I guess basically this is not a conventional demonstration. Obviously, I'll impart as much information as I can. You've got it here to watch. Take notes. Find the pertinent stuff. Take notes, and then we'll run this by again tonight or in the morning in a demonstration. Do you have any questions yet?
Not yet.
Okay. I'll have to get an appropriate rod for this. We don't. Okay. To eject the tip also is tapered, okay? And that tip is tapered like that. The pressure of the plastic holds it back. No, a knot in the wire or a kink or a solid braze will not yank that tip into the die. Why not? Because you got 2,000 or 3,000 psi in there, and the calculated cross-sectional diameter of a 3/4 inch, this is about is approximately a 11/16 diameter, thereabouts. So if you took .672 and squared it, times equals is .46 times the area of the circle takes up inside of its own square is .7, whoops, okay, clear it up. .46 is the square of that circle times .7854 is like pi r squared or whatever. So you got .37. So if you had 1,000 psi, it'd be 370 pounds. 1,000 psi is low pressure. You'd have 370 pounds holding that back. Take a pretty good size wire to hold back, to yank 375 pounds to overcome that, okay? And a tip, you just lay that in there like that and go like that. You know, they're amazed at how easily that taper will stick. Got to make sure they're clean when you do that, though.
Yeah.
This nut, all this nut does is hold the core tube in the event that a cable or something like that would back up in the tip, so it doesn't yank that forward. Again, it can't go forward any more easily than the tip can if it's pressurized, but when it's not pressurized, you're going to eject the tips. Then that's what that's there for, so you don't necessarily loosen up the core tube. You want to loosen the core tube, loosen up the core tube, okay? Customer gets hung up, well, geez, I don't know, what if you can't get it off? We'll put a pipe wrench on it, Well, now it's all messed up. Well, fine, we'll send you 5 or 6 more. The thing, pick a thing, $7,000. We can afford to give you a few of these, okay? I get frustrated with them, they don't realize that. I say, you want 10 of these? I'll give them to you. Just buy the thing, Okay? They get hung up on some of the silliest things,
Yeah.
They haven't heard how much this baby costs yet, okay? They usually don't balk, but it's usually not a problem. Usually not a problem. This is $69.75, $6,975, and that's no problem, okay? Because the competition's crossheads are right up there too. It's still I just can't imagine. Because everybody wants to do it differently, Brenda. Thank God everybody won't buy our product. You know what happens if everybody buys our product? The competition will have to make it or go out of business, and they're not about to go out of business. They're going to do something by hook or by crook. Okay? So it's like a religion. You can't get everybody to be Catholics or anything like that. It's not going to happen. But you could have the best religion, and you're not going to go any further than that. Now what we've done here is we've come up with a core tube. We've come up with an eccentric flow divider. We'll stop just a second. Let me give you a picture of a regular flow divider here so that you guys know what you're talking about. Where's Model 1? What is that, Brenda? Right there.
This one?
Yeah, that file there. Model 100. Here's a 101. Okay. You've got the cross-sectional view, don't you? Okay. But where we had where the plastic came in and ran around the riverbed, we now have and flowed over 360 degrees, but more particularly through 3 distinct flutes. Okay. All right. And this says 140 degrees for the first 2 flutes, and they were 1/4 inch. We've gone to 160 degrees. They used to be 120 degrees each, okay? And but anyway, we've gone with 1/4 inch ball end mill here and here, which is a .125 radius, okay? And we went with a 156 radius. Actually, we went to the 3/16 radius here for the purpose of it having a 3/8 ball end mill. Go down through. So the material would come in here, flow over 360 degrees, and the compound would come in here, okay, through the side of the head. The plastic come in there, start to spill over a little bit, keeping it clean, self-cleaning crosshead. You'd get a major relief right here and here. You'd lose a lot of pressure, so we put a bigger flute back here, okay. We started out with 3 equal flutes at 120. We went to 140. Still wasn't correcting some problems we were having. Went to 160 degrees. That seemed to do it. This design works, okay? But this is the latest, the greatest, and people like it best because you don't have a problem with it. You don't get a melt fracture or melt shear. I don't know what that is. You have to look it up, okay? But it disturbs the molecular structure of the plastic. That design there does occasionally. Some customers that are having problems with this, are going to this design here. This is an eccentric flow divider. Okay, it's like a camshaft. It's installed in such a way that the plastic comes in here in the deepest area here, begins to spill over, okay? And as the pressure begins to drop, the riverbed rises, if you will, on the back, and the dam lowers, okay? And so you have this lift on the so-called dead side, on the operator's side. It's not dead at all. You have 360 degrees of even material coming down over the end of that, okay? And the way we do that is the riverbed is approximately 50 thousandths eccentric with the central axis, okay? The dam is 30 thousandths eccentric the opposite way, with offset 80 thousandths from each other, plus we have some other special cuttings on this side that begin at the deepest area and continue around and are mostly affected by this backside right here. You have a 12-degree included angle here, you have a 5-degree included angle there. You don't have to get into all of that with them, but if they're going to ask you what's the angle of this, you know what included angle means? This is one angle, okay? Now on a mirror, okay, that might be 30 degrees, but on a mirror, it's 60 degrees, okay? So you have, this is one angle, this is an included angle, okay? So when you have it included, okay? That's 12-degree angle. That's 12-degree included angle, okay? From the axis on the wire drawing paper here, it's 6 degrees. 6 degrees or 12 included, okay? 3/4 16 threads, okay? A 1/2-inch hole, okay? And this is a great crosshead, very successful crosshead. People are ordering and they're still ordering it. Everybody likes it. There are no bullseye crossheads on the market that are not running. Every single bullseye, whether there was a problem with it or not, had been taken care of. They're up and running, okay? No other manufacturer of crossheads on the market can claim that, okay? I stutter when I lie. I'm just kidding, I'm not lying. That's the truth. No manufacturer of crossheads can claim that. There are 0 bullseye crossheads on the market. I have people that are some customers are taking off some of their bullseyes and changing over to vortexes. I'm trading them in, okay? And I have other people that are hot to get their hands on a good used bullseye because they've got bullseyes and they plan to buy more. We bring them in and we recondition them. They might just, well, I don't sell them for full price, nowhere near full price, but they're just as good. How much? Well, if you're interested, we'll talk about that. But for right now, let me get through the discussion here, and I'll tell you what the new price is of one, and so on and so forth. A demonstration, a free demo. Well, we sort of have a free demo, but it is and it isn't. What we like to do, if we can have our cake and eat it too, is you give us a purchase order, and right on the purchase order must be 100% satisfied in 30 days, or you can return it for a full refund or whatever. Normally we quote these third down. We probably will quote them a third down. Your down payment will be refundable, okay? So on and so forth. You tell them straight out like it is, and let's hope we get the third down, and let's hope everything works out all right. I haven't had to give a refund back in a while, okay? So, you know, other than that, that's one of the reasons I can claim that I don't have any on market that aren't running. Ossimat's got 2 heads. I assume they're running them, okay? He's the only unhappy camper we have out there, okay? So if somebody brings that up, well, what about Ken Boyle? Well, what about Ken Boyle? Well, he's got a couple crossheads. He said he can't get parts for or anything. So Ken Boyle's a unique situation. Ken ordered one crosshead and it ran very well. He ordered a second crosshead, and right on the purchase order he wrote right down, first crosshead's running great, send me another one. We sold him 2, they were running great. Ken overshot his budget, okay, and when he overshot his budget, he was in deep trouble. He did the same thing to B&H. He ordered 2 crossheads from B&H. However, theirs didn't run good, and he did return them, and he didn't pay for them. So he took the money that he had appropriated for B&H, got me to ship him 2 crossheads. However, you know, like I say, it ran for 30 days, and then he wrote right on the purchase order, running great, send me another one. So I sent him another one, and that ran great. Took it down to Teledyne Thermatics, and it ran. He took it up to Mohawk, and he ran into some problems there, but he didn't have a problem with the crosshead. He had a severe problem with the compound, overshot the budget, got himself into a big big problem there. Wanted to send them back so he'd have some working capital so he could keep getting paid, okay? So he could talk somebody into sending him a crosshead, somebody else into sending him a crosshead. So that's a different story. Foam Halar, yeah, it'll run foam Halar. We've got all kinds of customers running foam Halar on the Bullseye and the Vortex and so on and so forth. Who? Well, let's see, Shrewsbury, Massachusetts on Route 9. I can't mention any names. Mohawk, Montrose, okay. Tensolite. Not supposed to mention any names, okay. But anyway, but yes, okay. That's supposed to. You shouldn't be telling customers what their competition is running. You can mention that you have crossheads here, 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 and here. You can mention that they're running them, but better not mention about what they're running through them.
Oh,
Burt Piggott might not mind, and Spectrum might not mind, you know. Certain companies might not mind, okay. So anyway, we get on with the discussion. This is a one-piece body, and you pass that around and they look that over and say, this is all I have to clean up. They'll be surprised. That's very uniquely clean. So the back bore is clean, the front bore is clean, it goes together clean, it comes apart clean. The only thing you have is in the radial bore there, you have a little bit of compound, but if you notice the shoulder, the area for compound to be there, when this core tube comes out, chances are it'll take it all out with it. If you do find some in there that you want to have removed, we have a tapered bore brush here. Just go down in and clean that up there and brush it up real good. Wipe it out with a rag, draw a rag through. The operator looks in and makes sure it looks very clean. This taper here is very simple, just roll it. If it looks clean, it's ready to go back together. Excuse me. Let me put this back. This is not the way the demonstrations go at all. I've been imparting a lot of information so that you can absorb it. Then we'll go through a real demonstration. So anyway, the operator, make sure that that's clean. You look around and usually a shimmer, you know, walk around like that so that shimmer goes around. You're looking for any dust particles. Run the rag through again. If the rag won't get it out, you better go back in with a brush or something. Take an Allen wrench. Take something anyway and see if you can loosen it, all right? Get it loosened up. Put a rag around that or a piece of cloth and go in and tweak it like that. That'll really pick it up. You put a rag or cloth on that and go in like that with it and you'll get it, okay?
What if someone says they want to use a blowtorch in it?
A blowtorch?
Yeah.
Tell them we don't recommend that, but they can use anything that they want to that they feel comfortable. We don't recommend it, okay? Why? Because chances are unless they're highly skilled with it, they'll get uneven heat and could warp it. So in the event that they experience some difficulties maintaining a good center, they'll want to send that back and have us check it out. You cannot tell a bad tip by looking at it. You can't tell a bad die holder by looking at it unless it's so obvious. You can't tell by looking at these parts if they're on center, okay? You can't tell by holding that core tube still if that thing is